All right. Welcome everybody. I know we're having some students log in. I just want to welcome you all to the GBA webinar on the topic of major exploration and academic enrichment opportunities here at UC Berkeley. So we'll just give it a couple minutes just to see if more folks come in. Once we start seeing like the enrollment go down, then from there we'll begin. Yeah. All right, let's see. I kind of want to give it one more minute, but I know this number has stopped. Let's see. I think it's safe to say we can go ahead and get started. Um, so again, welcome everybody for coming into the GBA webinar. We're excited to have you here. I know this is a pretty exciting topic to talk about, especially for you folks that are maybe you already have an idea of a major you want to do or kind of trying to figure out what to do with the second, or maybe you don't know where it's at, like, your major interests, and also just to understand like the different opportunities of enrichment you have here at UC Berkeley. Um, let's see, Joanna, if you want to go to the next slide. Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, so to introduce ourselves, my name is Luis Gonzalez. I use he, his, him pronouns. I am a college advisor here in the College of Letters and Science. Some fun facts about me. I have been in the office for about 4.5 years now. I'm a local Bay Area native, coming down from San Jose, if you do count San Jose as part of being in part of the Bay Area. And since we're on the topic of study abroad, fun fact, I've been to over 17 countries throughout my life. So I love to travel. And I'll let my colleague introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanna King. I use she, they pronouns. I am also an advisor here at L&S. If we're going with fun facts, is like I am not from the Bay Area. As all like California makes the 13th state that I've lived in. I've also traveled extensively internationally as well. So yeah, it's wonderful to meet you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna. And with us today, we're not alone. We have our lovely other L&S colleagues, advisors here. I want to introduce them. One of them is Brianna, Giovanni, Brielle, and Kelsey. Again, thank you so much, you four, for being here to support us with questions. Um, and again, in regards to the topics of questions, please direct all questions to the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We will not be answering any questions through the chat function, just because we will be going through this presentation without any pauses. And again, towards the end, we will be answering some questions. Thank you so much for understanding. All right, we can go into the next slide. Awesome. So for today's goals, we definitely want all of you to definitely like listen, reflect, and connect with the information that we'll be sharing. Again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, many of you are here in this webinar for many different reasons, and that's totally fine, right? And we definitely want to help you how to make the best out of your UC Berkeley experience, right? Many of you are here again to find different majors that you may want to pursue, maybe how to get the most out of Berkeley. And again, that looks very different for all of us, right? Based on our interests. The three main topics we'll be talking about today will be strategies for major exploration, exploring academic enrichment opportunities, and learning more about study abroad and other general questions. All right. And yeah. All right,
All
Joanna.
right, it's back over to me. So we'll get started with the strategies for major explorations. So one strategy that you can utilize is researching. So we really recommend that you start off with the Berkeley Academic Guide and view the degree programs. So if you go to the Berkeley Academic Guide, you can use the filter function here on the side to basically like look at just, like what we have to offer here in the College of Letters and Sciences. You can also like break it down by majors or minors if you're looking at that as well. If you know that you're like really interested in like the STEM fields, you can further filter by that because we do have over 80 majors in L&S. So it's like there's a lot of options to choose from. Once you have like narrowed it down a little bit, you can just go ahead and click on any of the boxes to review information about the majors, learn about different student learning goals. And then also the most important part is to identify the major requirements and also the prereqs, for what you need to do in order to declare in those majors. And like this will be really, really helpful for when you are searching for classes to take or you're working on like completing your final assignment. And as I said before, is like use the filters. But by following these steps, you'll learn a lot more about the majors with all your research. And if you're getting to the point, it's like in the first couple of years of your time here at L&S, like this is a time of exploration. Nobody comes in to L&S declared in a major. So we really recommend that, like you go out and you explore, you like take other classes that are within your interests. But if you are noticing, like you're starting to narrow things down to, like 2 or 3 majors, but you're feeling torn, as like what I would recommend at that point is to like to go on to like the department's website and look at their upper division requirements and like read the descriptions and see if that's something that you would be interested in going further into. It's like, the other strategies for exploring major exploration is meeting with advisors who can help. So you have so many resources and so many people here at Berkeley that are ready and willing to help you on like your journey. And so they can help you explore your interests, connect you with resources. We have, as many advisors we also have like a lot of resources. We can create multiple plans. So say for example, it's like you're looking at a double major with study abroad. You can talk to us as all like and see what that would look like. Or if you're wanting to, like focus on like one major and like do a year study abroad, we can also talk to you about what that would look like long term. And then provide support with anything that you need. So there's, as I mentioned before, lots of different kinds of advisors in L&S, or like in the university as a whole. So myself, Louise, our chatters, we're all college advisors. We all are experts in like the college requirements. um, is all like, and then you also, once you are moving towards your major and you're ready to declare, then you'll be like transitioning over to like working a lot more with your major advisors. They are the specialists in their areas. They can help you understand the upper division coursework. They can help you understand or like help you like identify like things like internships or what like opportunities are available for students in your major. And then also is all like there's also faculty advisors for some majors, or if you decide to sign up for an honors program, you'll probably be working with a faculty advisor. Those are professors that are there to help you with your academic plan. We also have peer advisors. So peer advisors are kind of like what they sound like. They are fellow students. And so in the College of Letters and Science undergraduate advising, our office, we have peer advisors that are fellow students in the College of Letters and Sciences. A lot of majors also have peer advisors, and those are usually students who are majors in that department, and they will, and it's just, like if you want to talk to a fellow student about like your major from like a fellow student perspective, because is all like most of us have been, most of your advisors have been out of college for a while, and sometimes you want to hear that perspective from a different student. And then finally, we have career advisors. So our career engagement team is really, our career engagement office is really great. Is they can help you when you're ready to like look for internships, when you're ready to look for jobs, if you're wanting, like assistance with interviewing or resume building, like they will be the best people to talk to when you're ready to take that step to look into those. So, another strategy is to take time to reflect on the experiences that you'll gain in Cal, from your classes, from your clubs, to the conversations that you're going to have with instructors and advisors. Um, we really recommend that you, when you're creating your plan, is that you create a plan that is flexible to change. Is all like, it's great if you're coming in and you're like, I know exactly what I want to do. But sometimes what happens is, like you take a class in a different subject and you're like, maybe I'm changing my mind about like what I want to do. And so just keep things open, keep an open mind, be ready for like lots of new experiences, and having like an open like be willing to anticipate change in your plan. Is all like things that you have to remind yourself is that you have plenty of time. Is all like you have at least 4 years to finish your degree. So it's all like, you're not alone, you're not behind. It's okay if your plans change. And as I mentioned before, you have so much support here. We really, really recommend, like, if you have questions at any time, is all like about your academic progress, to please utilize all these resources that you have available. And I'll just go ahead and pass on to Luis.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that great information, Joanna. All right. So the next topic, we'll be talking about explore academic enrichment activities and the fun part, study abroad. All right. So for academic enrichment activities, these are just some of the few examples, right, that you could do to kind of explore. One of them is student organizations. So student organizations can vary from just like clubs, and these clubs can vary. They don't have to be necessarily related to like your major, but definitely clubs, and also Greek life, right, etc., are just like some of the few examples where you could still get the most out of your experience by gaining like transferable skills and also just building community as well. The second thing, right, that we mentioned is study abroad, right? Being able to study abroad somewhere internationally, right? A lot of students, even from when I was an undergraduate at a different UC, and even from some of the students that have studied abroad and have come back to the office, have mentioned that study abroad is just like a life-changing experience for them, just being immersed in a different culture, meeting different people. And yeah, and just possibly just learning more about themselves as well while they're away from home. Um, and also there's also like research opportunities as well. One of them coming from URAP, and URAP it stands for Undergraduate Research Apprentice Program. So obviously you're here at UC Berkeley. Many students do want to take advantage of that research aspect of coming to the University of California. And again, UREP is just one of the few ways you could do research. You could do also research with on your own, with a faculty member as well, right? That you really like as well from your department, right? Those are just some of the different things you could do. Um, and also one of the things as well that I forgot to mention is internships as well. And internships meaning you could do internships while abroad as well in Berkeley summer abroad. There's also internships that you can meet with in the career engagement as well, formerly known as the Career Center. And they can help you best identify what internships are best for you in the sense of your interests or directly related to your goals, aspirations, or anything related to your major as well. Um, and the other things that could vary are from like fellowships, volunteer opportunities, and more. And I definitely want to emphasize like the volunteer opportunities because a lot of students think that for an academic enrichment to be valid, it has to be either paid or an internship, but that's not necessarily the case. I definitely do agree that any type of experience that you could put on your resume or that you could talk about passionately does is valid and also does just, create such a great experience for you during college. And if you want to go to the next page, thank you. Um, so a great way to start would be to view our L&S like advising website as well as a resource to explore your options. Although academic enrichment opportunities we discuss will be posted on our L&S website. As shown on the screen, examples of opportunities to explore includes like study abroad, career preparation, research, mentorship, and getting connected with a Cal community. All right, Joanna, I'll pass it back to you.
All righty. And so as an example, here are some more details about our study abroad to explore. And so we have different types of study abroad. So first is the UCEAP or the University of California Education Abroad program. These are summer-long, semester-long, or year-long programs. They're open to all UC students. There's also Berkeley Summer Abroad. These are UCB courses taught by our Berkeley faculty, usually on like one specific topic. And then finally, as Luis was mentioning, is all like we have the Berkeley Global Internship. So these are academic internships that are in like a specific location and sector of your choice. And they have locations both internationally and domestically. And so where can you study abroad? Well, a great job is like there are over 40 different countries that we have programs in, and there are literally hundreds of programs that you can choose from. Uh, you will like the study abroad office can help you if you're interested in learning more about these different projects. And then you can also like go onto the study abroad website and just like basically like check it out and sort through, is like a region that you're interested in a language that you're interested in learning abroad. And that can help you like do some like research into some of the offerings that they have. And then when can I study abroad? So you have multiple choices. Is all like you can go abroad, as I mentioned before, you can go in summer, you can go in fall, you can go in spring, you can go for an entire year. It's all good. um, there's also an option to consider an extra term if that's something that you're looking to explore. And then when you do decide to study abroad, make sure that you plan ahead. And I can't emphasize this enough, is like plan ahead and meet with the study abroad office, and then also meet with your college and major advisors to prepare, because there's like lots of like finicky details in like your unit completions that you'll want to double check on us with. Um, then next is like, okay. And so how can you prepare? So we're about to go into like how you can prepare, like what the eligibility requirements are to study abroad. So these eligibility criteria cover all the study abroad programs. So UCAP, any of our Berkeley programs, and any independent study abroad program. It's important to note that the calculations of units for the following eligibility criteria are not going to include your high school exam units. So your AP scores, your IP scores, et cetera, or any community college credits that you earned while you were in high school. And pass on to Luis.
Thank you so much, Joanna. So as Joanna was getting into, right, to continue that a conversation about units, One of the eligibilities for students who want to study abroad but that have fewer than 55 earned unit credits, they must complete at least 30 units of college coursework. And as Joanna stated, this does not include any coursework that was completed in high school. So AP exams, and unfortunately, even for you folks that have taken classes at another university while in high school or at a community college, right? Even though those are technically college credit because you took them in high school, they do not count towards that 30 unit college coursework minimum. You also must declare a major or demonstrate the ability to declare a major by the beginning of your third year, which is typically your junior year, within one semester after returning from UCAP study abroad. The other thing is you must be in good academic standing, meaning that you can't be on academic probation, or have 12 units or more of incomplete grades. You must also have both a completion of both halves of reading composition. So this is referring to reading compositions part A and reading compositions part B. So unless the study abroad program took place in the summer following one of the first year of study in college, the other criteria must be met regardless of the study abroad term. All right. And then next slide. And so for students who are planning to study abroad much later in their Cal career, and if you have more than 555 college units earned, right, you must complete one semester at UC Berkeley. You must declare a major at least 2 weeks prior to the study abroad program start date, and then demonstrate the ability to satisfy the senior residency requirement, or in this case, if you do the UCAP study abroad, you must demonstrate the modified senior residency requirement as well. You also must be in good academic standing again, must not be on academic probation, and you also must not have 12 or more units of incompletes. And you also have to complete the reading composition requirements as well. Next slide. So while studying abroad, some of you may have already looked into or may not know, but participating in a UCAP Berkeley Study Abroad program, you can actually satisfy the international studies breadth. So as detailed as mentioned here, right, this may be satisfied by full participation in the UC and UC Berkeley sponsored programs for the study abroad listed on this link right here. So all the required courses for each program must be completed with at least the C minus or pass or P grade from a pass no pass. So what this means is that even if you, let's say, enroll in 13, 15 units, right, in your study abroad program, but you did not pass everything, or you got a D grade or less, right, then you may not be eligible to get that international studies breadth course waived. And again, I want to emphasize that for the study abroad programs, there's no specific course that you need to take to satisfy the international studies breadth. It's just a full participation of it. To request an evaluation for a non-UC Berkeley sponsored study abroad program to satisfy the international studies breadth, you would be strongly recommended to meet with an L&S advisor for pre-approval. And again, this is for non-UCAP, meaning that if you take some time away and you study abroad in a different country or participate through another university study abroad program, right? Don't automatically assume that it will meet the international studies breadth. There are certain criteria that it must meet in order for it to count. So definitely meet with an L&S advisor before you do that program, as well, just to make sure that you'll be good to go and to plan accordingly if that program cannot satisfy that requirement. Right. And I'll pass it on to you, Joanna.
All righty. And so here are a few reminders to help you plan ahead. So first, you're going to want to review the eligibility requirement by program. You're also going to want to double check like the application deadlines to track. Because like this part is like really important because it's usually so much sooner than you think it's going to be. Yeah, it's all like always check what the application deadlines are going to be. And then the program selections where most programs can accommodate all qualified there's a program selections where most programs can accommodate all qualified applications that apply by the application deadline. And then selected programs accept students on a first come, first serve basis. And so you're going to want to track that to see like which one the program you're interested in is. And then please note that in Please note that spring 25 may be possible for incoming transfer students who matriculate in fall 24, but it's not going to be possible for incoming first year students that came in fall 24. So the incoming first year students in the chat is all like, you can study abroad summer 25 at the earliest. And then getting ready to study abroad. So you can follow these steps by connecting with the Berkeley Study Abroad Office for Advising. There's their QR code to connect and learn more. As I mentioned before, you're going to want to consult with academic advisors on your academic plan. Be mindful of any early deadlines, and then also sign up for the BSA newsletter because they're always sending out interesting information. And then some of the key takeaways. So whether you're exploring a major or an academic enrichment activity, remember these tips. Plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. Is all like track the deadlines because there's always all these moving deadlines that you just need to be aware of if you're interested in certain programs. And then as always, ask questions for support. Go over back to Luis.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna. All right. So yeah, so that concludes our presentation. So now we have quite a bit of time to answer any questions. And I'm hoping that y'all have questions for us. And again, feel free to ask anything you feel like you need answers to. Let me see. And again, as a reminder, like do please type in your questions on the Q&A feature that's on the bottom. We will not be answering any questions in the chat function. Cool. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. Let's see. Chatters, is there any question that you feel has been common or common theme? Or
Um,
Go ahead, Brianna.
sorry. I saw this question. I thought it'd be a good one to answer live. The question was, if someone wants to study abroad, when would be the right time or recommended time for them to do it? And is the earliest that they can study abroad by the end of their second year?
yeah, good question. Joanna, do you want to take this one on or should
Yeah, sure. And so the right time is really going to be dependent on what your major is and like where you're wanting to go. Basically what I would recommend doing, like most of all, is I mentioned before, is like schedule some time with an academic advisor. But generally speaking, like the earliest that you can go is summer 25 if you're a first year student. And then oh gosh, where did the question go? It went away. But anyways, is like, but yeah, the earliest that you can go is summer 25. You can go all the way up to your last semester here at Berkeley. And so anytime during there, like I will tell you that I work a lot with STEM majors personally, and they have a tendency to take it later just because like they don't want to lose the knowledge that they like the classes build on themselves. But if you're looking at doing like an internship, like a global internship, then that might be an opportunity. And so it really is highly dependent on you and what your academic goals are.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you so much.
I'll throw another question out there for you guys. Some questions or themes around, can you fulfill major requirements abroad?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, yeah, it is possible. However, that is something you would have to consult with like your major advisor. I know sometimes, from my understanding, major departments have like certain programs that like students have done in the past where certain abroad programs can satisfy. They're not directly linked to like the major department per se, but meaning that some students have petitioned for like certain courses at, let's say, a university in Korea, right, to satisfy a certain like psychology requirement, right? However, things change, right? Requirements change. So it's always great to talk to your major advisor to see if you could take some of those courses abroad. Yeah, so again, we can assume that these courses will automatically satisfy, even though, let's say, you're trying to take general psychology at that university, and then you're doing general psychology here, even though they have the same names, there may be something different about the course that's taught where it may not satisfy you here at Berkeley, and the department may not accept it, right? Again, that's just hypothetically speaking, but yeah, I would definitely encourage you to talk to the major advisor. But yeah, it's possible for sure. Anything you want to add, Joanna, about that? No? Cool. All right, let me see. And I think there's one question here that I see is that, do you also take classes during the global internship? Joanna, do you know if yeah,
I
okay.
think I once, I was like, again, taking this with a grain of salt because I'm not a study abroad advisor. I do recall meeting with one student who was doing a global internship and she was taking classes at the same time. So maybe, probably, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think I've also seen students like possibly like receive units as well. Not necessarily taking classes, but units. But yeah, but definitely I would consult with like the study abroad office as well, in regards to that. Yeah. Or the question was answered too. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's any other.
Luis, can I ask you one?
Yeah, for sure.
We had a question about if study abroad prolongs your time at Berkeley or if you can study abroad and still finish in the given 8 terms.
Yeah. I think Joanna kind of touched upon it a little bit in regards to that. So for some students, it can, depending, right, on like, mean, there's a lot of factors. It can, in the sense of like if you're doing like a double or even triple major, right? And also it depends on like how many units, right? And also like when certain classes for your majors are offered. I definitely have seen students still study abroad. I even seen the students study abroad for a whole year and still graduate within their like 4 years. That's definitely possible, but it definitely takes a lot of planning and like time management, in the sense of like talking to your major advisor to kind of prioritize like, okay, when can I declare? Can I take some of these requirements while I'm studying abroad? If not, can I still finish my requirements by my 8th semester, right? And then also meeting with us in L&S to discuss like, okay, based on these requirements that I'm taking for my major and for study abroad, can these units also satisfy the journal eds I need for L&S, and also like the 36 upper division units for L&S, and the 120 units, and also the senior residency requirement, right? Um, yeah, I think it just depends. Like, I can't really give a straight answer, but I have seen students successfully do that for sure. And then there's also students that don't study abroad, like per se, in the throughout like their 8 semesters, but they usually wait maybe the summer after they finish all their requirements in their 8th term, or they'll wait and do like an extra like 9th semester to study abroad. But with the 9th semester, they wanted to study abroad like in the fall, right? Typically, there are certain like restrictions, right? Not going over like the unit ceiling, which for students it's 130 units. And again, not to go too much into the unit ceiling, but the unit ceiling only applies when you're trying to ask for extra semesters. It does not apply when you're still within your 8 terms. Yeah. But you could always come talk to us after enrollment time to discuss more about it. But yeah. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, student, whoever asked. Anything you wanted to add to that, Joanna? Or
No, no, not at all. I was just wondering, is like, do our chatters have like other questions that they want to elevate to us?
I have a great one. Someone asked if you're unsure about what you want to study and you don't know what type of internship, research opportunities you want to get involved in, what are other ways to gain similar type of experience and build up your resume?
Yeah, sure. I can go ahead and take that. Yeah, as I mentioned before, so like if you don't know what you're wanting to do yet, that is very, very normal. It is all like, as I mentioned before, nobody comes in to L&S with declared in a major. At this point, like it's really about exploring, about like figuring out what your interests are. I will say that there are lots of student organizations, otherwise known as clubs, is all like that are available. So like if you have like a general interest, like say for example, you want to go into business, there are a lot of like business related clubs on campus. You're going to see them like all in front of the gate. It's going to be like a really packed experience. It's very exciting. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting things that are constantly happening. Another thing I really recommend that students do, so like if you are finding like yourself in a class and you're like really, really interested in the subjects, then I would really recommend like connecting with the professor teaching the class or your GSI, because they can give you more information on what that, like it looks like to go more into that specific research. And then of course, like, if you have like no idea at all, like, like the direction that you're heading. We also have a career library on campus. So they do like career assessment. And it's really, really great because like it kind of helps you figure out like how to like match like what you're personally good at and what you enjoy doing, and then you like take their assessment, and then you have to schedule, like you have to actually meet with one of their career counselors. And I'll tell you, is like there's some awesome folks that do career counseling over in the career library, and they can help walk you through like what some of your interests are. And then as I mentioned before, of course, come talk to us in L&S. We also help students, like we enjoy helping students like walk through like, like that major exploration piece. But as I like to tell students, like we don't expect you to be declared until your fourth or fifth semester. And so you have plenty of time.
Yeah, thanks for that information, Joanna. Yeah. And I just want to emphasize too, I know like there's also conversations about like majors dictating like kind of what you want to do, right, in life. I think for me it was the opposite. Like I just did a bunch of like volunteer work and work studies that kind of led me to this position to know what I wanted. So yeah, so doing that stuff is cool. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, chatters?
Yeah, another theme that I've noticed is a lot of chat and talk about simultaneous degrees, double majors. Maybe just another reminder, clarification on the difference between like simultaneous degree versus a double major, and whether you're expected to complete the non-major requirements for the other college as well, right?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that too. So to clarify, a double major means that you're doing two majors in the same college. So an example, if you're staying in L&S, right, doing legal studies and then doing psychology. A simultaneous degree means that you're doing two majors, right? You're still double majoring, but you're doing one major in L&S and then one major in a different college. So for example, a popular one that I see all the time is students wanting to do economics in L&S and then doing business in the Haas School of Business, right? So once you declare an either or for a double major and a simultaneous degree, you are expected to fulfill all those requirements in order to graduate. You can't just not do one and be declared and then meet one other major, right, and expect to graduate. Um, the difference here though with both the simultaneous degree and also the double major is that when you do a simultaneous degree, you are expected to do the other college requirements, right? Which can be additional ones. That you may have to do on top of the major requirements and on top of your other major and college requirements, right? And L&S. There's also a difference as well where at least in L&S, right, to declare a double major, you have to declare it the semester before you graduate. So in this instance, for y'all right coming in fall 24, your EGT is spring 28. So in this case, if you wanted to graduate in spring 28, an EGT, it means expected graduation term. Uh, and so you would have to declare it by fall 27. For a simultaneous degree, however, you are expected to declare the major 2 semesters before you graduate. And that's just enough time to help you complete any type of like residency requirements that you may have to do for the other college and for us in L&S. So I think I saw as well that someone asked, like, do you have to do a change of college petition form? You do not have to do that. There's a separate form, a specific form that you have to do in order to do a simultaneous degree. And it's the same thing with the double major. To declare a double major, you first to declare the first major, you have to talk to the major. In this example, let's say you want to declare economics, you would talk to them first, and they would be the ones to declare you and start that process to put it on your Cal Central. And then for the double major, you do want to talk to the second major. Let's say in this example, let's say it's economics or well, I forgot what major I mentioned, but let's say sociology. You talk to that second major of sociology. They tell you like, hey, student, you're eligible to declare. Awesome. Then from there, you do that double major petition form. And then from there, that gets added, routed to us. And then we'll be the ones to add that second major. And it's a similar process as well for the simultaneous degree where you have to get approval from the second college to do that. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Joanna? I know kind of went on a rant.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I do see like the basically it looks like basically a follow-up question about like I've heard a lot of mixed things about simultaneous or double degrees and if they're recommended for students and what situations might make it a good idea to do a double and simultaneous degree or if there's scenarios where it's not a good idea. Personally, like I'll start, and if you have something to fill in, then please do. Is all like so. My personal like the way that I recommend students look at a double major is basically to look at how you're spending your time here at Berkeley. So if you are doing a double major, a lot of students do it. That's great. You don't have to. You can do one major. Because the thing is all like if you're doing a double or a simultaneous degree, you're using a lot of time to fulfill that other major or that other college's requirements. And that time could be spent on resume building items such as internships, such as like getting involved in student organizations, and such as, like basically doing those resume builder pieces. However, at the same time, like sometimes I do see some really interesting double major like combinations, like for example, public health and data science. I've seen that before. And like it's usually like the way that like if you're looking at like two majors and they're very similar, that's where I start asking the question, is this a good use of your time? Is all like if it's like really really different, like say for example like that example I used earlier, is all like if a student wants to work in a field where that combination is appealing, then yeah, that would be a great idea. Is like that seems like a good use of the student's time. Whereas, sometimes I see a combination like computer science and data science. Like they're no longer in L&S, they're changing over the summer, but I've seen a lot of students interested in doing both of those at the same time. And that's a situation where I ask, like, is that the best use of your time? And if your goal isn't to immediately go into the job force after, like you finish your bachelor's degree, if you're thinking about going on to grad school, you also have to ask yourself, like, what makes you look competitive to your graduate programs. And the best way that I would recommend in that case is to, like talk to the faculty in your department and see, is all like, what it like get feedback from them is all like to see is like if they saw a student that was interested in their graduate program and doing this double major, would that be more appealing to them than a student that did the single major or and then like did like these like related things to the field? And so just some questions to keep in mind. And Luis, if you have anything to
Yeah,
add.
Joanna, I think you hit it. I think you hit everything on the head with that. For me, yeah, for me, those are the same questions I ask students because I think there's this myth that a double major will make you look like this outstanding student and brilliant. I mean, y'all are brilliant in general, right? Just getting into, into college, right? And doing all the stuff you had to do to get into here. But I definitely am a proponent of like, yeah, like how to use your like time more effectively. And I think what I learned, like for example, from different students who have the same major, have the same GPA, what's going to make you stand out, right? Is the things maybe you do like outside the classroom. Again, the double major only works if you're like really indecisive on two totally different fields. And depending on the programs, maybe after for like grad school that you want to go into, if they tell you like, hey, we need you to have a social welfare degree, and we also need you to have a specific like computer science degree, then cool, awesome. But if it's similar and you feel like that's just gonna make you look good, um, unfortunately that's not the case all the time. Right. So definitely like, listen, reflect, right, as we mentioned earlier, right, to kind of see what is your priority, right, and how to make the most of your time at UC Berkeley. Yeah. Without
Yeah.
having to stress yourself.
I recently heard one of our colleagues in admissions say that is like you want to be strategic. And so it's like if a double major is strategic, then great. If it's not, don't sweat it.
Awesome. All right. I know we got a couple more minutes left. Any other questions, chatters? They feel like are
I think one general question I've been seeing is how can newly admitted students, like the folks we have on this webinar, access one-on-one help from their advisors? And if you could maybe share about during GBA period and then also what's going to happen later in July and onward.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I believe enrollment, and y'all can correct me because I'm forgetting the dates, but I believe that after July 18th, that's the enrollment day for Frosh, right? After that, you are able to schedule a one-on-one appointment, not necessarily with your GBA like advisor that you're assigned to right now, but with any of us amazing advisors here that you see, and plus more, right? We're not the whole office. But right now during Golden Bear Advising, it is strongly advised that you do, send your advisor like messages through the B courses, or sorry, not B, yeah, B courses. Um, and then, address any questions there and also definitely attend the office hours. So I know different advisors have office hours via Zoom, which I know I have some. I don't know if my students are here, for my caseload, but I've been offering Zoom office hours. I know some advisors have been offering like chat hours as well. I would definitely encourage you to attend those to answer any questions as well. Um, as for like major advising to ask like major specific questions, I'm not too sure if they're accepting any student to meet with any incoming Frosh students as of now. I know it varies from department. What I always say is you could email them if it's anything related, and they'll inform you if they're able to ask questions or not. Because I know a lot of staff are prioritizing like continuing students, right? But yeah, but those are the different avenues you can take to meet with your GBA advisor. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Joanna? No? Cool. Awesome. All right. Cool. Let's see. And then I see another question over here. So I say, what is the difference between a double simultaneous major and a minor in major? So a little while ago, I explained that a double major a double major is just majoring in two majors in the same college. For example, if you major in psychology and econ and L&S, and then a simultaneous degree would be majoring in L&S, in this case psychology, and let's say you want to major in business, right, in the Haas School of Business. That would be the difference between a double major and a simultaneous major as well. And then what is the difference between a minor and a major? So in this case, depending where you want to do a just any major, whether it's be like Haas, CDSS, right, or an L&S, right? You're just specifically doing a major and then a minor. Fun fact, you could minor in any college as long as the other college allows you to, right? You don't necessarily have to pick a minor within the College of Letters and Science. The only difference between like the minor is that it's less time consuming. At least that's what I hear from a lot more students. So you kind of get a feel and a taste of the certain field that you're going into. For example, like if you wanted to do a minor in data science, I believe you take about like 5 classes or so compared to, whatever number of requirements you have to do, right? And that kind of, kind of dips your feet right into the pool to kind of understand a little bit of data science. And I think a lot of students like to opt for this option because it's not as again, time consuming, or there's not a huge commitment, right? Compared to like doing another simultaneous in a double major as well. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, let me see. Any other questions? I know I see a lot of them. And then there's a question here that's not answered. Are the non-major requirements for CDSS the same as L&S? You want to answer that, Joanna?
Do I want it? Is all like, so it's a question for the other college essentially, is all like CDSS is a new college. I do believe that they do have some requirements that are different than L&S, but like when it comes down to like the nitty-gritty details, like I honestly do not know. But you should be able to check online.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you so much, Joanna. Yeah, and this goes for like any college, right? CNR, CED, right? Haas, right? Because they're all from different colleges, right? They're all gonna have different like requirements to meet, right? On top of their majors that they offer. So definitely you want to refer to those college and major advisors. What's different about those colleges though, from my understanding, because they're much smaller, their major is the college advisor at the same time versus like us. We're such a huge college. You have your L&S advisors and you have your major advisors. Yeah. And then I see Giovanni answering another question. Cool. See, chatters, any other questions that are coming up? I know we got about like 3 minutes left. Or any other questions, students, that y'all are dying to get answered?
I can do that one. Is all like, can I first enroll in as much classes as I can and then drop some of these classes? Yes, it's actually a strategy that we recommend. It's called shop and drop. Basically, yeah, it's like when your phase 1 enrollment starts, you'll be able to sign up for up to 17.5 units. And then you can just basically go, and then and then when like the next phase of your enrollment, you can go up to 20.5 units. And once you do that, then we recommend, within the first couple of weeks of class, dropping any classes that you're either like you go into and you're all like, this isn't for me, or maybe you signed up for like a class that you are quickly finding out is more difficult than you thought it would be. Then yeah, I would recommend that you drop back down to a more manageable 13 to 15 units. Please do not go above 15 units your first semester.
Thanks so much for that, Joanna. Yeah, and then and I'll also answer the other question right now. Is there a deadline to drop classes? I'll get into this answer, but I just wanted to add to you, Joanna, where the 17 and a half and the 20 and a half units, right? That also includes waitlisted units, right? So fun fact, because I know a lot of students are like, wait, I'm only enrolled in 11. Why can't I enroll in the 17? And we find out that, oh, you're waitlisted for 6 units, right? So definitely keep that in mind as well. And then in regards to that, right, for the deadline to drop classes. So there is a deadline, right? It's always that Wednesday of the 4th week of instruction where you get add and drop classes. right? Now, with that being said, right, there's two things. On the final assignment, it does ask for an alternate like classes and alternate like schedule, right? I definitely and strongly advise to create as many alternate like schedules that you can, or as many alternate classes, just so in the case that a schedule does not work out right, or if you get to that point of dropping a class, at least you have like some backup courses to add, right? And you're not scrambling around trying to find whatever classes, right, that you may or may not like, right? Um, and in regards to like even though you have until that fourth week to drop a class, right? For adding a class, right? I typically recommend students to kind of add a class by the latest, maybe the second week. For the reason being is that even though you have that until the Wednesday of the fourth week to add a class, some professors may be reluctant to add you because you have already may have missed some class, right? Some class, right? So, do what you will with that information. I would just, encourage you and strongly advise to, have, many alternative classes. Yeah. All right. I know we're at time already. So, if you want to go to the next slide, Joanna, quick. So again, I really appreciate y'all for coming in and checking out this webinar. I know we answered a lot of questions. Maybe we didn't get to answer your questions as well. Again, feel free to refer to your Golden Bear Advising advisor, right? They'll be able to answer questions, and if they don't know the answer, they could always consult with us. For the purpose of this webinar, please do follow us on YouTube, UCB L&S Advising. This video recording will be available to view on our YouTube channel within 5 to 7 business days. Again, I just want to give a shout out to Joanna, give a shout out to our chatters as well for answering all these questions, and just again for y'all to be here. So thank you so much.